Welcome to 24 Holiday Tips for Savvy Homeowners, brought to you by HomeTipsforWomen.com. Join us each day as Tina and her guests bring you a holiday tip to fill your home with more joy and less stress. And now, here's your host, Tina Gleisner.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's holiday tips. I'm so glad to have you because it's a great time of year, but sadly, we sometimes get overcommitted and we end up working so hard that we don't have enough time to relax and enjoy ourselves during this busy season. So what I like to do is tell people to take a little time as the season starts and plan out your holiday activities, because that's when you're going to decide what's worth doing and what's not. And I also give people 4 Ds. The first one is it's okay to delegate things to other people, especially children in the family. It's much more fun to do things together with others. The third one, I give you permission to drop some things off your to-do list. And if you do all of these things, you're going to have enough time to delight yourself, because that's what the holidays are all about, is having a fantastic time. And I really want you to have a great time this year. So that's why I've invited lots of different experts to share with us their tips on how you can enjoy the holidays more with less stress, spending less money, and just have a great time. And so our guest today is Famira Green, and she's going to help us with how do you clean out your closet and turn those into gifts for others. So with that, thank you so much, Famira, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you. Such a great topic.
Yeah. And just to get started, I love hearing what everyone's favorite holiday activity is. So what's your activity that you love best of all?
So my favorite holiday activity would have to be decorating the Christmas tree. It's something that my family has always done since I was young. And we would go out and pick out the tree. We always had live trees, and it was just me and my parents because I'm an only child. So we would take the time to actually, everybody had their own job. So my dad would string all the lights. Then my mom and I were the two that actually did the bulbs and hung everything on the Christmas tree. And so it was just always a time of family. We always set aside a specific time in order to do so. So it holds lots of great memories, and I keep it up even to this day.
That's wonderful, and I love that you tied it to your family and carrying that tradition on now with your family, the growing up now as an adult doing the same things, because traditions are important to all of us.
Yes. Plus it's just fun.
Yeah. So closets, one of the things that the holidays are all about is gift giving, but sometimes before we have space to receive new gifts, we need to clean out some of that clutter, and we do collect a lot of clutter in our closets. So I know you've got some tips to help us understand how people can go about cleaning out that closet and gifting some of those things they've not worn for a while.
Definitely. It's always good around this time of season to think about those that are less fortunate than us and that we can actually help with things that we have within our closet. So my first tip that I would like to give everybody is to actually take the time to evaluate your style. So often when we get ready to clean out our closets, we just head to the closet with no type of plan in mind, and we end up with charity remorse, where we've either given away something that we really wanted to keep in our haste, or vice versa, we held on to a lot of things that we really don't need. And so I just encourage everyone to really take the time to decide what you want your style and your wardrobe to say about you. And then that makes it easier for you to carry out step number 2. So my tip number 2 is to actually filter your look. And this is where you'll begin to pull all the different items that you have in your closet that no longer fit in the style that you want to have that you've discovered in tip number 1. A general rule of thumb that I like to give to everyone is if you haven't worn it in 6 months, then it's pretty safe to let that go. A lot of times we always hold on to that skirt or that shirt that we're just going to get back into. You know, we have all these big plans for it. But the reality of it is within a 6-month time, you have gone through different seasons and you still haven't worn it. So that means that more than likely you're not going to wear it. So that is just my general rule of thumb for everyone. And then tip number 3 would be just to simply give what you would be happy to get. And this really talks about the condition of the clothing that you are giving away to charity. Oftentimes when we're going through our closets, it's easy to fall into the mindset that because someone is less fortunate, they should just be happy with whatever they get. However, we want to remember the human aspect of it and not just simply making ourselves feel better that we're doing something. So I always tell people, make sure you're not giving away anything that is overly worn, that has holes, that is in a condition that you yourself wouldn't want to wear it. I just always feel that that's something that people need to keep at the forefront and just make sure that they're giving something that they themselves would be happy to receive condition-wise. And those are my 3 tips.
And okay, but can I just ask a little more on
Sure.
Where can people donate the gifts that they end up with from their closet?
There's so many wonderful organizations out here. Of course, you have your larger ones that most people know of, your American Crosses, your Salvation Armies always are taking donations, as well as your local homeless shelters. Especially during this time, a lot of them are in need of coats, both men and children, coats as well, and they'll be happy to take your clothing. There's also your domestic violence shelters. A lot of times people they think about the women's clothing, but they don't realize that they also accept children's clothing because a lot of the women that are there have children, have smaller children that are with them in those shelters. There's also programs like Dress for Success and other programs that are built for those people that have been incarcerated that are coming back out and they're getting job training, but they don't have clothing to wear to interviews and to jobs once they get them. So a lot of times they will take your donations as well. And, of course, your local churches, they usually do. A lot of times they'll have a clothing and pantry that they use to support the community with. So those are just a couple places that people can donate their different clothing to.
Right. I know for several years now, after Thanksgiving, I always go through most of my closet and find things I haven't worn, just as you said, and I take them to a local organization called The Safe Place. And, you know, it's fantastic what they do because they basically put all of the donations, toys, home furnishings, like throw pillows and comforters, they put everything out on display, and then the women staying at their shelter come in and they basically shop, so they get gifts for themselves as well as their children. It's wonderful.
Wow, that is great. And I always tell people to really look to your local organizations. The national organizations are wonderful, but a lot of times those are the organizations people think of first. And there's a lot of the local, smaller organizations that are really affecting the community that go unnoticed oftentimes. So I always encourage people to just do a little bit of research and see who's doing what type of work in your community.
Right. So, Famira, can you share with us what's most important to you during the holidays? Because they're upon us.
Right. So for me, it's definitely the reason for the season, and it definitely goes to my faith and just recognizing what we are actually celebrating during this holiday season, and everything that I do in regards to the holidays, from enjoying my family to cooking food and decorating. We really look at it as the birthday celebration of Christ. So I am always drawn back to that, and I mean, He is the reason that I am, so that is the most important thing to me during this holiday season.
And that's great, because it's a nice balance versus what we see on television, what we see in the stores where everybody wants us to buy, but the holidays really need to start with family and just,
Right.
getting together and taking care of each other. And that's why I love your story about cleaning out your closet, because, the things you're not using are the perfect gift for somebody else during the holiday season.
Definitely. So true.
So, Famira, if people wanted to get to know you a little better and learn about your business, where would they find you online?
They can visit me at my website, and it is Famira, and that's spelled F as in Frank, Amira, green, just like the color, GREEN.com. So that's www.famiragreen.com. And once they go to my site, it'll give them all of my social media information as well, and they can connect with me there too.
Okay, and for anybody who didn't figure out, Famira is a style coach. So her business is all about helping you find that signature look that's aligned with your message. And with that, I want to say this is Tina Gleisner, founder of Home Tips for Women. We're signing off for today, but we'll be back tomorrow with another fabulous holiday tip for you and your loved ones. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us today, and we invite you back tomorrow for another Savvy Holiday Tip. Be sure to grab your free gift at SavvyHolidayTips.com. That's SavvyHolidayTips.com.